Moderna shot yesterday, and I'm like dragging around. But it's a busy day. There's a lot going on, and so we're going to push through it. I'm telling myself I feel sick, but I'm not really sick. It's the vaccine doing its thing, and that's a good thing. So happy to have all of you here today. And if Allie is ready for us, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is remind you of the Ellis County Market that's going to be happening this Saturday. Remember, that is a 4-chamber event. All 4 chambers in Ellis County are hosting an Ellis County Shop Local Expo at the Ellis County Youth Expo building that's near Waxahachie High School. It's going to be from 10 to 3. I think we had a couple people drop out, so there's a couple of booths if anybody is interested in coming in at the last minute. I think registration is closed online, but we know people. We can get you in if you want to be in the show. And that'll be from 10 to 3. And we're expecting... Well, last year when we planned this, we were planning for 1,000 people, and so we don't know if Saturday there'll be 1,000 people as we had originally planned, or if there'll be, less than that or more than that. People are just anxious to get out. But come on and join us there. 1 week from today is our luncheon downstairs here at the conference center featuring Methodist Midlothian Hospital. And we can't do tours, but they can tell us all about it, show us what they're going to be offering, and so that we can become their ambassadors for helping people know what's available right here at our local hospital. So we're excited about that. That's 1 week from today. You can register on the Chamber's website or call Judy, and she will get you registered back there at the back. Speaking of Judy, I'd like to introduce my co-workers. Judy Bates is standing at the back. She handles membership for the Chamber. Sitting here in green is Allie Benham. She handles our special events, major events. And so she's right now working on 3. She's helping coordinate the final arrangements for the Ellis County Market on Saturday. The Wine and Arts Festival is Saturday, May 1st, and the golf tournament is Thursday, May 27th. So we've got a lot going on. And that leads me to my new coworker. Sitting beside her is Mary Beth Bartlett. Mary Beth just joined our team last week, and wow, are we thankful. She's already bringing so much help to us, especially Allie. We're getting so many phone calls that Judy and I were having to answer some of those, and it was just really... So it's a blessing to have you, Mary Beth. Welcome. And we're thankful to have you on the team. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Before I do, I wanted to thank our sponsor for today. That is Leo Phillips with Air Products. We thank you for sponsoring our event. He didn't want to speak, but I do want to tell you that when we had a need for helium last year, Allie called him, and they couldn't sell us the helium, but he helped us solve our problem and come up with some alternate solutions. And so that's a great business to have in our community, and we thank you for your support of this event today. So I'm pleased to introduce Monica Horton. She has lived all her life in Wichita Falls. She's a graduate of S.H. Ryder High School and has a BBA majoring in finance from Midwestern State University. Monica began her work with the Better Business Bureau of North Central Texas in March of '99. She started out as a consumer consultant and was later promoted to Director of Operations before being appointed to her current position of Wichita Falls President. She loves working at the BBB because she firmly believes in its mission of being the leader in advancing marketplace trust and its vision of a marketplace where buyers and sellers can trust each other. Monica serves the local community and the BBB organization by having served on international BBB committees and numerous subcommittees overseeing the BBB system. Locally, she has served the American Advertising Federation of Wichita Falls, the Bowie Chamber of Commerce, the MSU Alumni Association, the Rotary Club of Wichita Falls, fellow Rotarian, Wichita Falls Chamber of Commerce Education Committee. Our education committee is represented today by Dr. Sharon Price, back at the back. And she currently serves on the Rolling Meadows Board of Directors. Monica has been married to her husband, Ricky, for 29 years and has 2 adult sons, Sawyer, who is in Fort Worth, and Ethan, who lives in Sanger. Please help me welcome Monica Horton.
Thank you. So the mic is not to project, it's there. Okay. And I need to hold it. Okay. So the glasses are a new development. I can't see anything without them, but I'm still not used to coordinating this. So I can't do glasses, notes, and microphone. So we'll just go with it, okay? I appreciate the invitation to speak to the group today. I love talking to businesses. You're probably wondering, why is the girl from Wichita Falls all the way down here in Midlothian? And that is because my counterpart out of the Dallas office is no longer with the BBB, so I'm covering the entire market right now. But it's a pleasure to come down here. I love getting out of the office and talking about BBB. So my goal today is just to give you an introduction to the Better Business Bureau. I think that most people have a positive impression of BBB, which I hope they do, but they don't really understand exactly what it is that we do there. So I'm going to introduce you to BBB. This is Jeff Walsh. He is my colleague with the Better Business Bureau. We got to sit together face to face today for the first time, but we've seen each other on the screen, right?
Living in us.
Jeff, do you want to come
Yeah, sure.
do that? Would help. That way I can get around a little bit. I don't have my just click the advance these right here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
That'd be great. Okay, so what I plan to talk about today is just letting you know what the BBB is. We're going to we're going to touch on some scams. People like to hear and talk about scams and things, but I'm going to focus on a lot of our programs, products, services, that sort of thing. So we'll just get right into it. How much time do I have before we get too far into it? Okay. I know the time thing is really strict, especially when you're trying to get to work, and so just start doing that if I go too long. Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you. So the Better Business Bureau, our vision, she said during the introduction, is a marketplace where buyers and sellers can trust each other. And that sounds pretty basic. It sounds pretty simple. But there's a lot of things that we do to accomplish that. And the BBB's mission is to be the leader in advancing that marketplace trust. So some of the things that we do to accomplish our mission is we set standards for marketplace behavior. We have standards for trust. We have standards for advertising. We're a standards-based organization, so we write standards for everything. We create what we call a community of trustworthy businesses, which this is what we call our BBB accredited businesses. These businesses have been vetted against a set of standards, and that's how we're able to say that you can trust them because they're contractually obligated to the BBB. We celebrate marketplace role models. I don't know if any of you have heard about the Better Business Bureau Torch Awards. The Wichita Falls office has been handing out the Torch Award now for over 20 years. The Dallas office adopted it pretty recently within the past 3 years. But the Torch Awards for Ethics recognizes ethical business practices, obviously, because that's the name of the award. But I would encourage any of you here in Midlothian to apply for it. I encourage any business to put yourself up against the BBB Trust Test, is what I like to call it. And this kind of takes the standards to a whole nother level. As part of the application process, we ask that the leadership of the organization attest to their personal ethics and integrity. Whether it be, the owner of a sole proprietor, whether it be the board of directors, or the leadership team of a particular company. And we start there and we start at the top, because if you are involved in an organization whose leadership is unethical, you're not going to be an ethical organization no matter how hard you try. And so that philosophy does trickle down to the rest of the organization. And so that's what the Torch Awards for Ethics is looking at. And keep your ears open. I'll probably email the chamber when we open up that application process. I've had some positive feedback from a lot of companies who learned some things about themselves during the application process, and it really made them stronger for it. What we're most known for probably is calling out and denouncing substandard behavior. So If there's somebody scamming people, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about companies that are not doing what they're supposed to do. And that's what the media likes to pick up on. Unfortunately, it's all negative usually when we do media stories, but that's what we're known for. So just to give you a brief overview of the Better Business Bureau as a whole, we have been around for over 100 years. We were originally founded back in 1912. Now, the International Association of Better Business Bureaus is our umbrella organization, and we have collectively 400,000 accredited businesses with over 100 BBB offices throughout the United States and Canada. So there's not an unserved area in the United States. We have, like she said, I'm with the BBB of North Central Texas. So we have a Dallas office and a Wichita Falls office, but we're the BBB of North Central Texas, and we are governed by a local board of directors. We have some directors from Wichita Falls. We have some directors from down in the Dallas area. This is a snapshot of our service area. So we serve currently 29 counties. Originally, we were splintered off and segregated. Wichita Falls was its own office. Dallas was its own office. We joined forces several years ago, and so that's the entire service area. Wichita Falls operated 16 counties west, and then the Dallas office operated 13. So I said that we were 100 years old. We were originally founded based on the principles of truth in advertising. So these are a couple of advertisements from way back in the early 1900s. Have you seen those? They're kind of funny. If in case you can't read, go ahead. No, let's back up one. Yeah. Okay, you don't have. Anyway, in case you can't read it, the Coca-Cola ad says that they are the ideal brain tonic, okay? And this was an ad that was circulating back in 1906. So the Food and Drug Administration had the Drug and Safety Act that they had just adopted. This advertisement landed Coca-Cola in court under an FDA inquiry. So the defense attorney for Coca-Cola stood up and said, "Why, all advertising is exaggerated. Nobody believes it anyway." So that was their defense. So there was a young Coca-Cola executive by the name of Samuel Dobbs, who we peg as the founder of the Better Business Bureau. So Samuel Dobbs was the grandson of the founder of Coca-Cola, and he said that in order for advertising to be a successful marketing tool, then consumers needed to be able to believe what that ad was saying. So he started the truth in advertising movement, which eventually evolved into present-day BBBs. Okay. So to dive into our products and services a little bit and tell you what we do, in addition to the advertising, the BBB, you saw our 29 county service area. So our offices are responsible for monitoring the advertising of all of the businesses located in our service area. So a lot of times whenever we contact a company about their advertising issue or some of the claims that they're making, the business is doing that because they don't really understand the rules. So when we contact a business about their advertising, we'll say, here's what you're saying, here's the rule, back up the claim, substantiate what you're saying, discontinue the claim, or modify the claim. So one example that a lot of people are not familiar with is if you have a free offer can go on no longer than 30 days. Otherwise, it's part of the purchase price. So when we see free offers, the clock starts ticking, and if we're 60, 90, 100 days out, we may contact you and say, hey, you need to discontinue that for a little bit. You can maybe start it up later, but discontinue it. It's probably worth mentioning that some people think that the Better Business Bureau is a government organization, and we're not. Just because we have bureau in our like to make that connection. We are strictly a nonprofit organization. So when we contact a business about an issue, we're operating in the spirit of self-regulation. We want businesses to do what they're supposed to do without government regulators making a law and telling them that they have to. So sometimes when we contact a business, we get some pushback, and they're upset with us. Who do you think you are trying to tell me how to run my business? Well, and I'm speaking from a recent experience, I guess. We're not going to name names. I could, since I'm in Midlothian and not in Wichita Falls, but you never know. It's a small world. So sometimes when we contact the businesses, who are you? Who do you think you are? Trying to tell me how to run my business. You don't know what you're talking about. So that's why I want to tell you that we work really closely with the government regulators that do have the authority to do something. And the government regulators, they love our information. We have, I'm going into investigations now. So we have an entire department that does investigations. They look at suspicious activity. We track patterns of suspicious activity. We take a look at complaints and see if there's any patterns. And we really investigate some of the businesses that are doing some of the things that they're not supposed to be doing. And so we have what we call North Texas Task Force meeting, and the Dallas office is the one that hosts the meeting, since that's where most of the offices are located. We have the Federal Trade Commission, the Attorney General, the Postal Inspector, and depending on what we're talking about, those people gather around the table once a month, and they talk to the BBB. So they like BBB and they like our information because a lot of times we can hand them cases of nice, neat little stacks of 100 complaints. So if you as a consumer have a complaint against a business and you file it with the Attorney General's office, the Attorney General's not going to take off and go after that company based on one complaint. So we hand them their cases. We, give them our findings. The information flow is one way. We don't get anything back from them, but they do like our information. So we investigate businesses. Sorry. Anybody have any questions so far? I'm going really fast. You may get to it, but what does it mean to be accredited by the BBB? Yeah, I'll get to it. Okay, sure. I think that most people know that if they have an issue with a company, they can file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. The BBB, we take complaints, and during the complaint process, we are strictly a neutral third party. A lot of times when a consumer has a complaint with a company, there's been a breakdown in communication. So we keep the lines of communication open between the business and the consumer, and ideally we're working towards a resolution. We want our complaints resolved, which I'm proud to say that most of our complaints that we process are resolved, regardless if the company is a BBB accredited business or not. As part of the complaint and dispute resolution process, if we're not reaching a resolution through our normal conciliation efforts, then we do offer arbitration. So we will hear cases. It's a binding arbitration between the consumer and the business. If you, as a business, I hope that businesses see this as a benefit, because if you have one of those consumers that are really upset with you, and it's a situation that's probably going to land you in court anyway, BBB arbitration is a really economical way to get something resolved as opposed to landing in court. So if you have a consumer that is willing to go to arbitration, I would encourage that. Am I missing anything? Oh, customer reviews. Customer reviews haven't been around for 100 years. They're a fairly new development, but the BBB, we started accepting customer reviews as part of, or as a way for a consumer to compliment a business. I think with our complaints, some of our information might have been skewed a little negatively. And so customer reviews give that opportunity for them to compliment. What separates BBB reviews from other review sites is before we publish anything, we are going to send a copy of what the consumer is telling us to the business, and we're going to give the business the opportunity to respond to it before anything's posted. So we'll post the review and the response at the same time. Sometimes if the business gets back with us and says, I don't know who this customer is, they're not mine, they're just saying things that I don't know who it is, then we'll take that information, we'll go back to the consumer, and we'll ask them to provide proof that there was actually a marketplace transaction between them and the business before anything's done. So that's what separates our process from some of the other review sites. Business profile, that's the center. That's our product. All of the information that we gather and all of the investigating that we do, we house it in what we call BBB business profiles. And those company reports are found online on our website, bbb.org. Programs. I'm going to talk. I'm going to touch on 6 of the programs, and right now we're going to start with the BBB video contest. This one's near and dear to my heart because it is currently taking place. We are slated to select the winners in a couple weeks. Service area, and we have asked the audio visual departments to put together a PSA, a 60-second PSA, talking about BBB. So we are engaging a younger demographic, getting them to know BBB, getting them talking about BBB, and the target audience is their peers. So this is a fun thing, and we find that they get it. You know, they really do get it. So I want to show you one of the contenders. I'm pulling for this one to win.
You're supposed to be non-biased.
Well, down here don't have to be, right? No, this one is actually, I can't remember what school it is, but it's out of the Dallas office. So they put together a pretty good video. Hopefully it works. Yay! Take a look at this. Sound. We're not going to get sound.
Is it not?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Never mind.
Well, you want to tell them what you did.
Okay. So I'm really impressed. I mean, this is top-notch video. This is something that you would pay money for. The people that I had a question who judges. The judges that we recruit for the competition are people that are in the industry, advertising agencies. We have some American Advertising Federation board members. We recruit media people. So they have some top-notch videos that are entered into this competition, and then we use them. So as part of the competition, the schools have to drive traffic to bbb.org. They have to go market it and get people to log on and vote for their favorite. Then we select a top 5 and we post those top 5 videos on our Facebook page, and they have to drive engagement on our Facebook page. So we get some great stuff and great traffic and traction. In return for that, we award the winning school gets $2,000, second place $1,000, third place $500, and then the teams that put together the video get $200 apiece. So we give 2 first place winners, one for the Dallas market and one for the Wichita Falls side. So we pay for it in the long run, but I think it's a great way that we've discovered to engage them. Okay, so we have another program called In Pursuit of Ethics, and In Pursuit of Ethics is a training program that the Better Business Bureau offers. I don't know if any of you in here are in an industry that requires continuing education credits in ethics to for your industry, but this does qualify for that. The In Pursuit of Ethics is ethical training. It's not the dry, boring ethical training that we've all attended. It's interactive, and we wanted it to be fun. So the Better Business Bureau, we took some real life situations that we've seen and witnessed and encountered, and we put together some videos. So it's a video, it takes you up to a decision point. You make a decision, and then it's going to take you down another road to a decision point, and you make a decision. So just recently, I was able to go to Midwestern State University and talk to some of the Dillard College business students and walk them through this training. One of the things that I say is you're not going to walk into the classroom unethical and all of a sudden leave as an ethical person, but it does work to get the wheels turning and get them thinking about some of the decisions that they make and how it impacts everybody. Ethics is kind of that gray area. So the way the videos are designed is you have that decision point. You're going to make the decision that all of us would say, okay, yeah, that's the right decision. And then we throw them a curveball and we take that decision down another road. So it's great training, and we love giving it. The Secure Your ID Day, that's pretty self-explanatory. You see the shredded paper up there on the picture. The Better Business Bureau, we've been having shred days for over 15 years whenever identity theft was really beginning to run rampant. And we pegged a national BBB Secure Your ID Day where all of the offices will have a shredding event twice a year. So our shred days coincide with the tax filing deadline. So it's usually the Saturday after April 15th, Saturday after October 15th. So we're coming up. April 17th is going to be one. We have it in Wichita Falls. The Dallas office has always been a little reluctant. I don't know if anybody's going to go to downtown Dallas to shred paper on the weekend, but there's free shredding events all over. You can find one, and it's important. We talked a little bit already about the Torch Awards, and so I'm not going to revisit that, but it's our annual award that we hand out to businesses. The military consumers, the Military and Veterans Initiative is a program that's been around since 2008. And this program was created as a memorandum of understanding between the International Association of Better Business Bureaus and the Department of Defense. So as part of the military's financial readiness campaign back then, they engaged with BBBs because pretty much wherever there's a military installation, there's a Better Business Bureau office. So it made sense. So we go on to the military installations and we educate the military about smart consumer information. We have a workshop on buying a car. In a couple weeks, we're giving our buying a house workshop, just giving them some basic information. Since then, the readiness, financial readiness campaign is no longer, so we operate now under a statement of support, and that gets us onto the military installations. So that's that. BBB accreditation, you asked about that. I will say that the BBB, and that's why Jeff is here. He's the expert on BBB accreditation, and there's a whole host of benefits that go along with that. But I think the most important one is BBB accredited businesses, they support our services. And we say that you can trust these businesses because we vet them and we watch them and we constantly monitor them. Now, we rate all businesses with an A+ to an F, and then accreditation would be the next step. So if somebody calls me and says, I need an electrician, I'm going to send them to accredited businesses because I know that you can trust them. Move on. Okay, I said I was going to touch on scams, but we're running out of time. I got my 5-minute warning. So I will say that the Better Business Bureau, every time we have a scam that's on the top of the list, they make our top 10 for that year, we're going to do an in-depth investigation into what's going on and how it works. So the BBB scam studies, I think they're pretty interesting and they're very, very informative. We have a lot of scam studies about a lot of different scams. One of them that I do want to touch on is the business email compromise. Since you guys are a business audience, this one's important, and I encourage you to read that study. Next slide. The business email compromise is, it was an issue prior to COVID, but since everybody's working remotely, it has skyrocketed. People are working from home and the networks are not as secure. You don't have those protections in place where you can, talk to your boss across the hall or walk into their office. We've seen some pretty involved scams. So we want you to be familiar with how the crooks hack your devices, how they steal your information, how they steal your money. So familiarize yourself with those 3 things. But we always preach, don't click on any phishing emails. Don't open any attachments. Don't click on any, unsolicited stuff. Well, and we do that because these things will place malware on your computer. Some companies have had malware sitting there on their devices undetected for years. So what the crooks do will watch your activity, and they watch, everything that you're doing. They know your contacts. They know how you talk. They know how you interact with your employees and your vendors. And then they social engineer a great looking email that gets you to fall for something. So be on guard about that. I know it's top of mind for everybody. You've probably heard about that, but BBB has an entire study. This is our scam tracker, and I can do a live demonstration of this, but if you encounter a scam and you want to report something to us, this is our online portal where you can report scams to us. You see a heat map. That's live scams targeting the United States. I can drill down to Midlothian, and I did that earlier, but I think we're running out of time to do a live demo of that. But once you get there, you can see what kind of scams are reported in this area. You can see what's targeting this area at any given point and report those to us. Like I said, all of our information is shared with law enforcement organizations. We dump all of our complaints and everything into a database called Consumer Sentinel that everyone has access to. If you want more information, here's our contacts. We are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. We have Dallas Facebook page, we have Wichita Falls Facebook page. You can get in there and take a look at some of those videos that I'm proud of. And so that's how you can connect with us. Any questions? It's a wrap. Go ahead. Yeah.
We're all familiar with robocalls and stuff like that. And now we're getting, in fact, I just got one this morning that says UPS, the arranged delivery of your shipment, blah, blah, blah. Got change, please confirm here. And basically they want you to, are y'all doing anything, or is Better Business Bureau doing anything in relationship to robocalls, these kind of text scam calls?
I will say that the number one scam for 2020 was online purchase scams. We are seeing a lot of the fake delivery communications because people are ordering online, they're expecting deliveries, and these crooks will cast a wide net and wait for somebody to fall for it. If you are expecting a FedEx package, you are going to be, watching for something like that. With respect to robocalls, there's not a whole lot that can be done because a lot of times these crooks are contacting you from outside the United States. Even if your caller ID and even if the phone number appears to be a local area code, they're using voice over internet protocol and they're contacting you through the computer. And that technology, I could call you from the White House and make it appear to be from the White House if I wanted to. So you can't rely on the local number. That's another thing that they're using to get you to trust that message. Now, with respect to robocalls, they are illegal, and the Federal Trade Commission is the one that enforces that law. So every time you get a robocall, you can hop onto ftc.gov. You can report that robocall to them. Every once in a while, they do catch up with the crooks, and when they do, it's $10,000 per violation. So when I get the robocalls, I'm like, okay, good. Maybe it's another $10,000 when they catch them, but it's tough. And some of the cell phone providers have come up with some software and things to try and screen out some of that. I don't know if you've seen, some of the calls lighting up with spam on them. They're doing what they can to try and do that. But even if there is a law, the crooks don't follow the rules, and they are outside the United States, so not a whole lot that can be done.
So clarification, hailstorm comes in, you get roofing companies all in your neighborhood, and you're like, I've never seen these guys before, but they put the BBB on there, look them up, and they're on there, they're trustworthy?
I do have some, yes, I think that basically what you want to do in a storm situation, when you have those contractors come into the area, you want to make sure that you're going to be able to track them down later if you have an issue. That's the main thing. You don't want them to disappear. If they say that they're BBB, go ahead and check it because, a lot of them will say that they are and not be. So go ahead and check it out with us. Even though they may not have a physical location in the area where your damage is, BBB can track them down at their home location in some form or fashion. So that's my advice on that. Now, when people come knocking on doors, my advice for when you have somebody knock on your door wanting to do a free inspection is to not sign any paperwork. Don't make a purchasing decision when someone's standing on your doorstep, period. I don't care how convincing they are. Take the information, see what they have to say, and check it out first. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Just to add to that, by the way, sir, yes. Just because you enter the BBB doesn't mean you remain in the BBB. If you mess up, we'll give you a chance to fix it. If you don't, you're gone. Also.
Good to know. Thank you, Jeff. All right.
Jeff's your guy to answer any questions about BBB accreditation. He's here local. That's why I had the opportunity to meet him today.
And we have people who occasionally call the chamber about complaints. And we can, we do what we can locally to try to help the business and the consumer resolve that issue. But we tell them if that doesn't work, take it to the BBB, and because that can sometimes feel like it's been ramped up to a higher level. And so, we always recommend that. And don't let somebody malign your business. They can tell you how to go in there and respond to those things. So I didn't know that you even notified the business before you posted it, so it doesn't sit out there with no response. So, they're looking out for the businesses is what they can tell you, what that tells you, but they're also looking out for the consumers. And for us, that is really the best outcome for that. So hopefully all of you put your business cards in to win a door prize. We have a couple of Amazon gift cards. Oh, there's not very many cards in here. Starbucks, what did I say, Amazon? I'm not doped up on drugs or anything. So, but maybe I do need some drugs. Anyway, so yes, so it's Starbucks gift cards. So the first one is a green card. Who's got Tell Me More? Air Products. Trevor. Trevor has won that. And here we go. Okay. So thank you for sponsoring, and thank you for your sponsorship. You're going to win a gift card. And our second winner of a Starbucks gift card is this one, also green. Harry Grant, who sat with me at my table, and we were friends. We were friends when I was with the DeSoto Chamber, so I'm happy to have Harry here today. One thing that I forgot to mention about upcoming events. Tomorrow night is our candidate forum for the City Council and MISD candidates. It'll be here downstairs from 6 to 8:30, maybe 6 to 9 if we get a lot of questions. So we'll live stream that if you don't want to come and watch it live. But it's going to be here at the conference center tomorrow evening. And then our business plan competition, we got several great applications. The judges have given us back their scorecards. We'll be announcing this afternoon who the 3 finalists are for our business plan competition, and they will make their presentations at our pitch night, which is April 15th. The first place was going to get $5,000. Second place will get $3,000. Third place will get $1,000 to help jumpstart their new business. And we're excited for you all to hear these business plan presentations at our pitch night on April 15th, tax day. So did I forget anything to my coworkers? Any other announcements? Thanks again to Air Products for sponsoring our breakfast, and you all will see you next month.